My sister, Shamini, was very cute, lovely and adorable. She had a great life until she got married. Her married life was not bad because of her in-laws. The reason was beyond a layman's comprehension. The reason was mysterious and spooky. She was not in the good books of her neighbor Liza. She would often fall over trifles with Liza. Within 7 days of a week, 6 days went in quarreling, leaving only a single day for a temporary truce. She thought it was not a big issue, such as the story of everybody, but her story was not everybody's story. One day Liza came to her with her homemade kheer. She said, "Shamini, today I have not come to buy a fight with you. I thought we fight very frequently. Why should not we try to give a turn to our relationship? I have brought sweet kheer for you to make our relationship sweet." Shamini gladly accepted it as she also wanted to kill this bitter relationship. She thought she was doing a good thing, but we should never trust a serpent so easily. After 7 days, she began to suffer strange, unusual fits. Nobody could understand the reason for her mysterious fits. She would drop down on the ground for no specific reason and get unconscious for an hour or two. Her husband and I got her to the doctor. The doctor took her many tests but to no avail. He failed to find out the reason for her sudden, unusual fits. But all this bad stuff doesn't end here. With the passage of time, the situation kept on aggravating. Now in unusual fits, Shamini began to speak in two voices in a single time. One voice was of hers and the other was of a male. Whenever she spoke like that, it was very horrible. I could not even manage to hear her over a minute. It was so creepy and harrowing, her husband and my whole body would tremble. Now we could not say she was suffering from unusual fits. Now it was damn clear that she was possessed. One day her husband and I were sitting close to her and we all three were having a funny conversation. But at once, she got possessed. She started yelling as loud as she could. She shouted loudly in a male's voice, "You bitch. Get out of my house. Why do you come here? This house is mine. I am your sister, Priyanka. What happened to you? Oh, Priyanka, my sister. Ha ha. Go to hell and feel the wrath of fire over there. Or else give me your blood, I want to bathe in it. You are my sister, you can die for me. Then why don't you die for me right now? Ha ha." I was taken aback to hear such hair-raising wording from her. Her husband was stunned to watch an unexpected phenomenon. The whole matter spread like a wildfire in our village. "Shamini is possessed" became the word of the mouth of each and every person living over there. Her husband was so frightened that he decided to divorce his wife as soon as possible. I tried to talk to her husband but all went in vain. His logic was also absolutely correct. How could one live with a ghost for the whole of his life? Consequently, he got a divorce and left my sister forever. I could not leave my sister alone in the lurch. I brought my sister to my house so that I might take care of her. At least, I am satisfied from the point that my sister was living now with her mother and the real loving sister, i.e. me. My mother decided that we should take Shamini to a Musalman saint. Only such saints could dispel away the negative powers. We asked many about such a Muslim saint living nearby. Finally, we found one living at a distance of about 8 hours from our house. He lived in a very remote village. We had no option except to reach his house and beg for his help. I requested, "Babaji, we have come a very long way, just to beg the help of you. Here is my sister Shamini, she is possessed by a demon. Please help us." "Okay son, don't worry. I will try to help you as much as I could." I and my mom heaved a sigh of relief. Babaji, Muslim saint, sent for 2 men. 2 men arrived on the spot with a whip in their hands. Babaji said, "When I will start my process, either both of you don't speak in between or move away from this place for some time." I and my mom agreed to stay there as we didn't want to keep Shamini away from our eyes. The two men started whipping Shamini. She began to scream and shout. Soon the male voice in her became dominant. In between, Baba Ji asked questions. Who are you? Why have you entered her body? What do you want? What is your purpose? Why do you want to live in the body of Shamini? Leave her body. Who has sent you? For about an hour Shamini didn't answer any of these questions. Instead, she threatened Babaji if he didn't stop, she would kill him. But Babaji was very brave, he didn't even pay any heed to her threatening and the two men continued to beat her. In the end, the evil in Shamini got tired and bruised by the spiritual strikes. He was left with no alternative except to answer his questions. Finally, the evil in Shamini spoke up, my name is Mahmud. I died a few months back. My body was buried in a graveyard. But one woman, Liza, came and she took out my flesh and hairs by digging my grave. Then she went to a black magician. With the help of my hairs and flesh, he conquered my spirit and made me blind. Now I can't see anything. Then he with his spell put me in the body of Shamini. Priyanka, you don't know, one day Shamini ate the kheer Liza brought for her. That kheer was not a normal kheer, it had an evil spell mixed with it. Through that kheer, I entered into her body. Now it is not possible for me to leave her body as I can't see anything. Please let me stay in her body. I promise I will not harm anyone, I will not even speak anything bad to anyone. But please let me stay in her body. I am not able to get out of her. Babaji still continued to recite hymns and mantras to get the soul of Mahmud out of Shamini, but he miserably failed. Having nothing else to do, Babaji said, Priyanka, I am really very sorry. I failed to get him out of her body. But for sure, he is not going to harm anyone now. I can guarantee this. I exclaimed with anxiety, but now what should we do? Where should we go? Is there any solution left or not? Yes, there is still one solution. But the problem is that you can't afford it. I will try my level best to do whatever you ask. Please tell Babaji what I have to do. You have to go to Pakistan and find a bigger Muslim saint than me. Only he can make your sister as normal as before. Babaji rightly said that I could not afford it. We didn't have enough money to go to Pakistan and live there for months and find a saint over there. Eventually, we decided to accept our circumstances. Shamini continued to suffer from paranormal fits, but she never harmed anyone after that. 10 years went by, the circumstances were still the same. But one morning, she got up early and went inside the washroom to take a bath. I was waiting for her to come back so that I might go to the washroom, but she was taking a lot of time. I got fed up waiting and shouted, Shamini, come out soon. She didn't reply. I shouted again, but I heard nothing. The matter became suspicious. I and my mom both knocked on the door of the washroom and asked her to come out, but again no response. We decided to break the door open. We both gave powerful shoulder strikes on the door to break the doorknob. What we saw then was extremely heart-rending. I and Mom both burst into tears. The frightening sight, bringing mental agony, tore our hearts apart. In the washroom, my sister Shamini was lying dead, fully naked. Her face had turned stark black and her tongue was about 8 inches out of her mouth. The evil soul of Mahmud lived with her as long as she was alive, and finally, she died with her too.